You are watching Toon Matrix. Please watch previous part for better understanding.
In the last part, we saw that Jiyong was jogging at the ground and analyzing the current situation, while someone was watching him by a window from a building nearby. The scene shifts, and we see that Detective Heen is inspecting the case. Then a bald officer comes from behind and informs him that a new victim has been discovered, and the personal information of 27 of those involved in the Gijandong case has been reported. Heen asks what exactly happened. Baldy briefs that the victim's phone was powered on at a rest stop in Daejeon, then shut off on the Jiyongbu line after making a post and sending out a message. He says that the information has been taken down from national sites, but it's already been uploaded to sites based on foreign servers, so anyone and everyone has access to the information. Heen asks if the data is legitimate, to which Baldy replies that everything is accurate. He says that they are putting their best efforts into capturing the person possessing the phone in Daejeon. Heen says that, whether turning on the phone was a mistake or a bait, one thing's for certain, the real hunt has started. He states that if their identities, which they've been working so desperately to hide, are revealed like this, then those involved won't be able to handle the pressure, and they'll resort to one of two things. They'll either go into hiding or apologize like the Vigilante has been demanding. Those who want to continue being a part of society will confess at this point in an attempt to soften the public's animosity. It's a wise choice to make that will allow them to slowly integrate back into normal life. This is also the greatest possible propaganda for the Vigilante. The public will further idolize the man capable of eliciting an apology from the most heinous criminals, the man capable of what the law is incapable of. The issue is those who will go into hiding. The Vigilante will target them. The public will come to believe that those who do not publish an apology would deserve to get killed, and if they get murdered while laying low, there's no way to find out. Baldy replies that Heen is correct, and informs him that out of the 27 people, they already cannot contact 8 of them. Heen asks 27? Weren't there 28 of them? Baldy points at the computer screen and replies in affirmative, and says that for whatever reason, it seems that one of them was not included. Heen, while leaving the room, asks if they are able to contact that person. Baldy replies in affirmative, saying that that person has not gone into hiding. The scene changes to Police Academy, and we see that Jiyong is jogging with his batchmates. Jiyong talks to himself and questions, "How is it, Vigilante?" Does he likes the question Jiyong has given him? If he wants to meet Jiyong, then shouldn't he at least prove that he has the right to do so? Vigilante tried to provoke Vigilante by saying "us" in that message of his. Jiyong says that he'll make Vigilante realize exactly how grave of a mistake that was. He is planning to frame the Vigilante even for crimes that Vigilante committed if Vigilante can't solve the question, like one of the extraordinary. The scene changes, and we see a big fat guy walking down a hallway. He receives a call and he answers it. We came to know that his name is Park Dojin. The person on other side of phone asks him that why is he the only one whose information was not leaked. Dojin replies that he doesn't know why his name was not there either. The other person asks him to stop playing around and just admit it. Dojin questions and asks admit what? He says that if he is implying that Dojin was the one who leaked the names. The other person replies that that's not what he meant. He says that it's not that simple. Dojin gets angry and tells the other person that if he has something to say to him, then come find him and say it to his face. After hearing this, the other person apologizes and ends the call. Dojin calls the other person a fucking pussy and enters into a washroom. We see that Heen is standing behind Do Jun, and he gets scared upon seeing Heen. Dojin questions him, asking him his identity, and asks if he has some business with him. He with a high tone asks if he is the Vigilante. Heen shows him his identity card and replies that he is with police. He then takes out a watch and say that for his safety, he has come here to deliver this smart watch to him, and while he is here he has something to ask from Dojin. Dojin replies that like he said before, he don't need things like smart watches or guards. He asks Heen if he's really a policeman. He comments that Heen is wasting his talent with a face like that. Heen, ignoring his comment, asks Doan again if he is in contact with those involved in the case, like for example a message room. Doan denies Heen's claim, saying that he doesn't have any chat room. Heen asks him if he has one, then please do show him, because he suspects that the vigilante is in that room. Doan tightly grips his handbag and replies that it doesn't exist, and even if it did, he wouldn't show it to Heen. Doan asks about the vigilante, that he fights barehanded, right? Heen replies in affirmative, saying at least until now he was fighting barehanded. With a scary face he says that, if it's that way then it's fine. If Vigilante comes to him, he'll give Heen a call so that he can take Vigilante away, who will be half dead or dead. He asks Heen to just go home, and he don't need a lame watch like that. After saying this he walks out. Heen remains standing there, and asks Doan one last time, what was the reason that his name was excluded from the information leak? Doan ignores his question, and walks away. Then we can see a conversation between two people. The first one, let's call him Ildo. He asks the other, who seems to be Vigilante, that it's different from what he promised, why was his information leaked too? To which Vigilante replies that it wasn't him who did that, and if Ildo sees what Vigilante sent to him then he will see that Vigilante is telling the truth. Vigilante asks Ildo to do just as he told him. All Ildo have to do is lure Park Doan and the others in the chat room to that place, and after that he has nothing to worry about. After that we are shown the conversation of a chat room. In short, the people in chat room are outraged at Park Doan. They believe that Park Doan is the one who leaked their information to the public. They are planning on handing over Park Doan to Vigilante after they meet at their usual place with Park Doan. We are shown the face of Ildo, who is sweating heavily, and he is the one who is suggesting the plan of handing over Doan to Vigilante. He further goes to write that if they just bring Doan there, Vigilante will definitely kill him. Then someone who seems to be Vigilante calls him dumbass, and asks him to delete the written message, in case the police will see it later. Then we are shown a flashback of how Ildo got into this situation from his point of view. A group name Almighty Gijin Fam was made. Honestly, he regrets hanging out with them. Memories? After graduating, he didn't even want to remember what he did. He got into the college he wanted to and made new friends. He even have a girlfriend. Every time he sees those guys playing delinquent around that neighborhood, he feel ashamed to show them to his new friends. But the group's sexual assault that he was just a part for fun became a problem again, after they resolved it so well already. And it's not a joke this time, a crazy murderer is threatening them. After the second victim, he contacted them for the first time with a group message. Reveal their faces and identity, and publish an apology? There is no way Ildo is letting his current friend find out about this. But after the third victim was killed, Ildo received a message directed personally at him. It was an audio message full of terror, outlining everything he did during the sexual assault. The voice belonged to the third friend that had died. And after telling Ildo that he will spare him if Ildo did what was asked, the message ended. Ildo ignored the message and refused the police's protection. He doesn't want his past to be exposed at new school, a new neighborhood. But when he came back from school, there was a note in his bag. It was a picture of him from the back, passing through a secluded alley. It was a proof that the Vigilante could have killed him then, and that he could kill him at any time. Struck with fear, Ildo did everything that Vigilante ordered. But all of a sudden, his information was leaked. He didn't know what to do, amidst all the rage and despair. And Ildo didn't know if he panicked or what, but Vigilante even went as far as to send proof that he wasn't the leaker. The one who exposed them was Park Doan. Park Doan had leaked everyone else's information in order to save his own skin. The Vigilante said to Ildo that, since it came to this, he would take care of Doan if the rest of them just wrote their apologies. Ildo gladly agreed to cooperate. He wanted to see that bastard dead on the floor. Vigilante told Ildo not to share the fact that he was working with him under any circumstance. But Ildo told his closest friend in the Gijin fam about it. Ildo calls him crazy fucker, and says, does Vigilante think that he'll always obediently do as he says? After Immolante kills Park Dojin, Ildo plans on reporting him to the police and get him caught with all the information he collected. The scene changes and we see that Dojin gets a call from someone. The person on the other side says that he wants to discuss something about the info leak, so he wants to meet at the karaoke place they used to gather before, and says that everyone is coming tomorrow. Dojin replies that he got it, and lights up a cigarette saying of course he is coming. He then walks up to his car, and takes out a metal baseball bat. The scene changes to the karaoke, and in one of the karaoke's room we see that many people are gathered there, and they are discussing about how Park Dojin may have leaked their information. One of them gets frustrated and says, after all that talk about being the strongest, he can't overlook it this time. He says when Park Dojin comes, they'll confirm it, they can't let him get off scot-free. Then one girl spoke up saying that she just got accepted where she wanted, but it all fell apart because of the rumors. People keep giving her glances when she walks past. They started arguing and blaming everything on Park Dojin. One of them says that, now he thinks about it, wasn't Park Dojin the one who led that whole incident? They just got swept up in the mood, but they are the only ones paying for it. While they were arguing, we see that a black car arrives outside the karaoke, and Park Dojin comes with another man, let's call him Chunsung. They both enter the room where everyone else was gathered. Park Dojin comments that he can't believe that this place is still here. Then he takes out the baseball bat. Everyone gets a little scared upon seeing the bat. Dojin, while smoking a cig, says that it was fun when their fam used to hang out there. And thinking about it, this is also where they raped her. One of the person present there tries to speak something, but Dojin shuts him up. He states that anyone who says any useless thing, he'll split open their head, and asks them to just answer his questions. He tells them that the police told him that the Vigilante has an insider in their fam. Then a green-haired man while sweating asks Dojin to calm down, but Dojin strikes him at his leg with the metal bat. While that man was writhing in pain, Dojin asks everyone else to line up against the wall. He asks them to hand over all their phones, and anyone who calls the police is dead. No one is leaving without his permission. He shouts and says that, the rat that's been contacting the Vigilante, come out now. We see that Ildo and his friends are sweating buckets because of the current situation. Then Dojin asks Chunsung to go outside and lock the door, and don't open it until he says he's done. He then asks them to come out one by one, starting from this side. When the first person resisted, Dojin smacks his head with the metal bat. He then starts beating everyone, and asking who is the insider that is working for the Vigilante. The screams of everyone can be heard from the outside. When Ildo's friend was getting beat up, he tells Dojin about Ildo that he is the one who is working with the Vigilante, and asks Dojin to check his phone. Ildo gets scared and denies the accusation. Dojin walks up to him and asks him to take out his phone. Ildo hesitates and tries to explain his situation, and suddenly he gets hit by the bat, and Dojin continues beating him with the bat. Outside the room Chunsung was keeping an eye. Then he notices a man in the black hood coming towards him. The man in hood takes out a police ID and shows it to Chunsung, asking him to buzz off. Chunsung gets confused for a second and asks police? The man in hood replies that they received a report of audible screams from this building's basement. He says that the dispatch is on their way here, but he thinks that he'll have to take a look first. Chunsung replies that it's really nothing. He says that he'll tell them to quiet down. Hooded man says that he can hear the screams though. Chunsung replies that it's just friends playing around, and then turns around to tell them to quiet down. But suddenly he got hit by something in the head. He falls to the ground, and with a surprised face looks up, and we see that the hooded man is going to hit him again. We came to know that the hooded guy is Immolante, and after taking care of Chunsung he breaks all the lights in the hallway, and then he wears a night vision headgear. Inside the room, Ildo was on the ground, and was pleading that he really don't know where the Vigilante is. Dojin presses his face on the ground, and asks him again where is the Vigilante. Suddenly, there is no light in the room, and everyone gets confused. Dojin shouts in anger, asking why are the lights off. Then Ildo speaks up saying the Vigilante. We see his half-broken face with few teeth missing. He says that it's the Vigilante, and calls Doan a fucker, asking him to die. Doan says like he thought, they all are traitors. He started swinging around the metal bat in the dark, and the others run in all directions to avoid getting hit. They all started shouting and asking Doan to stop swinging around the bat. We see that the assailant came inside the room and is now watching all this happening from sidelines. One of the girl notices the opening sound of the door and runs towards it to escape the room, but she gets smacked into her face by assailant as he walks towards Doan. While Doan was busy with others and was shouting for lights to be turned back on, he gets a punch on his face by assailant. Assailant snatches the bat from Doan, and then hits a home run from Dojan's face and he falls to the ground. Then Ildo notices that he is not getting hit anymore, and he swings his punches around in the dark in order to hit Doan. Then, assailant gives the metal bat to Ildo, and he starts swinging around the metal bat in hope to hit Doan. While Ildo was swinging around the bat, assailant walks up to a girl and grabs her by her head, and throws her in the trajectory of the swinging bat, and she got hit in the head. Ildo continues hitting everyone thinking that he is beating Doan, and assailant is watching the scene from the sidelines, and then he gives off a big smile. After some time we see that police cars have reached to the karaoke. When the officers go down in the basement, they see that there is no light. When they turn on their flashlight, they witness a scene they never imagined. They see that everyone in the basement is lying dead on the ground with their heads split open, and blood splattered everywhere. Then we see that a news reporter of News Channel 9 O'Clock News reports the karaoke incident. The reporter explains the case and briefs about how they have reached there and how the situation may have led to a fight. We see that Jiyong is also watching the news report on his mobile phone sitting in front of the computer. While watching the news, Jiyong first gives off a smile, then bursts off into laughter. He comments that it's absolutely flawless. He didn't think that assailant would be this good. He states that assailant impudently interfered in his plan and eliminated Vigilante's target. Not only that, assailant provoked him by sending out that message. So Jiyong decided to mess with his target as well. Does he really think that he can punish all of them with a pace like that? Jiyong says that he'll give a chance to assailant to take care of all of them all at once, and sweep them all up using the plan he made. Then we came to know that it was Jiyong who leaked the personal information of the Gijin fam group to the public. It was Jiyong's plan so that he can give a test to assailant, so that he can prove that he is really extraordinary. Jiyong states that it's outstanding, he is pleased with the result. And now, assailant has the right to meet him.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon.